Good day everyone. In this presentation, I will be discussing describing grammar test tasks, including their purpose, classification, and common classroom-based assessment activities used to measure learners' grammatical ability. By the way, my name is Lawrence Alpamaong and I will be the one to present this topic. So, what is grammar test task? Basically, grammar test tasks are designed to measure learners' accuracy in using grammatical forms. This task focus on whether learners can recognize or produce correct grammar rather than how effectively they communicate meaning in real-life situations. Although grammar tests may not always reflect authentic communication, but grammar remains a crucial component of language learning because it supports clear and effective communication. For this reason, grammar is assessed directly or indirectly in most language tests. A strong knowledge of grammar helps predict a learner's overall communicative language ability. Next is we have the classifications of grammar test tasks. According to scoring procedure, grammar test tasks can be classified based on how learners' responses are scored. These are objective and subjective tasks. Well, the first one is, of course, we have the objective task. Well, objective tasks are those that do not require expert judgment in scoring. The answers are clearly right or wrong, making this task easy and quick to check. Because of the reliability, objective tasks are commonly used in quizzes and examinations. An example of an objective task is a true or false question, such as she doesn't like coffee. True or false. Next, subjective task. In contrast, subjective test tasks require expert judgment to evaluate learners' responses. This task focus more on how language is used meaningfully, and scoring may vary depending on the evaluator. An example of a subjective task is asking learners to write a short paragraph describing their favorite holiday. This type of task allows learners to express ideas freely while using appropriate grammar. Next, as we have the classroom-based grammar assessment task. There are various grammar assessment tasks that teachers commonly use in the classroom. Well, first we have the multiple choice task. Well, multiple choice task requires learners to choose the correct grammatical form or meaning from several options. These tasks are widely used because they are easy to administer and score. For example, she blanked to school every day. The correct answer is goes, which tests subject verb agreement. Next is we have matching task. Matching task present learners with so-called two columns of related items. Learners must match items from one column to the correct items in the other. To reduce guessing, extra distractors are often included. For example, for matching task is learners may match grammatical forms such as verb tenses or comparative forms with their correct answers. Next is we have the gap filling task. Well, gap filling task removes certain words from a sentence or passage. Learners must supply the correct grammar form based on the context. These tasks are effective because they test grammar in a meaningful sentence. For example, yesterday we blanked the museum. Learners must recognize that the correct verb form is visited. Next is we have the short answer task. Well, the short answer task requires learners to give brief responses which may range from a single word to a short sentence. For example, what tense is used in a sentence? She was reading a book. The correct answer is, of course, the past continuous tense. The next one is we have the information gap task, which information gap task involves learners working with incomplete information to complete the task. Learners must interact and ask questions, which encourages the use of grammar in communication. For example, one student may have a schedule with missing details while another student provides the information through conversation. And the next one is we have the storytelling and reporting task. Well, storytelling and reporting task ask learners to use their personal experiences or imagination. This task measures how well learners use grammar to express ideas, events, and meanings. An example is asking the learner to tell a short story about a memorable childhood experience. Next is we have role play and simulation task, which is this task places learners in real life situations where they must assume specific roles. This task focuses on grammatical accuracy, meaning, and appropriate language use. For instance, learners may role play a conversation between a customer and a store clerk returning an item. To sum up, grammar test tasks are essential tools in assessing learners' grammatical ability. By using a variety of task types, from objective tasks to more communicative and subjective activities, teachers can better evaluate both grammatical accuracy and meaningful language use. Effective grammar assessment helps support learners' language development and overall communicative competence. So, here are the reference of my topic, which is this one. And thank you so much for listening, and I hope you'll learn something. And this would conclude my discussion. Every day is a chance to learn by venspired.com. Bye bye.